Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Hey folks, welcome back to King Gunsmith. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my favorite solvents and lubricants for cleaning guns, maintaining them, oiling them, and basically keeping your firearms or firearms that you're working on in good condition. And even some of these, solvents and lubricants, they can be used for, multi-tools, things like that. Knives, keeping your knives oiled and, well cleaned and, well maintained. And the more you keep a tool, up to standard, keeping it oiled, keeping it clean, the more life you're going to get out of it, and the easier it's going to be, down the road. So this is in no way the be-all, end-all to, your cleaning needs or your lubricating needs. These are just, what I prefer and what I've, always been using ever since I started. And, I really find Hoppe's, which is, these right here, Hoppe's number 9, to be the most, efficient and ergonomic brand for my uses. Working on the guns, oiling them, cleaning them, and like I said, even, something as simple as, a multi-tool. This is a Leatherman mutt. Anything, something like that, just keeping your tools nice and clean and well maintained. Your knives maybe, saw, flashback. Just keeping everything, very nice and in working order. So I just wanted to kind of give, just a few uses for these and, the proper way to use them, things like that. Sometimes you'll see people using them, they're globbing stuff on where they shouldn't. And basically I just want to, kind of do a quick video on, like, the proper way to use them and, basically what you're going to expect out of something like Hoppe's number 9. So let's go and start left to right. These two right here are basically the same thing. This is going to be more of your liquid form right here. This is just gun oil, lubricating oil. Get a close-up of that right there. And this is just a, general purpose lubricating oil. Your guns, again, multi-tools, knives, coming in that fashion again. Anything that's moving, metal on metal contact, you're going to want to keep lubricated. And you'll see a lot of people, especially any type of lubricant, frog lube, things like that, they'll start globbing that stuff on there. And they're really, they're thinking that they're going to get the most efficient, by globbing this on there and really, really pouring that stuff onto their, metal on metal contacts, things like that. And what you'll find is your gun will actually get dirtier because there's more, residue for that carbon to stick to, that gunpowder residue, things like that. That buildup, you're just giving it. So you want to give it an ample amount, but you also want to give it a very conservative amount, because if you start, like I said, adding that stuff on there, you're going to start to have more cleaning problems than anything, and really your oil's just, gunking everything up. And, again, the same can be said for a lot of different oils and things like that. And so just take it with a grain of salt. Less is more in this case, so just kind of keep it like that. This next can right here, this is actually an aerosol can. This is pretty much the same product, Hoppe's number 9 lubricating oil, except it's in an aerosol. And these come with the red straw, like a WD-40 can will, the red straw. And this is for getting into tighter areas. I use this all the time on guns. I can't express how many times I've used this over this, just because it's so much easier, get the straw in there and kind of get in, tight places, things like that. And really it's just a convenient, aerosol form. It doesn't gunk up a whole lot, and I really have come to like the aerosol form. It's, I started out using the liquid form, but definitely the aerosol form in the can is starting to become quickly my favorite, just because it's easier to use, and it really doesn't, I feel like sometimes these bottles leak a lot, and as you'll hear me say with, these, and, I don't know, I just like the lubricating oil in the aerosol and not the liquid form, but, both are the pretty much same thing. They're still going to be there for you, and, get you your metal on metal contacts, things like that, lubricated and efficiently running. So the next product we have here is also by Hoppe's number 9, of course, and as I said, this is not the be-all, end-all, but this is just, what I was always using and, what I found for me personally the best. This is pretty much a solvent cleaner, This is going to be your multi-purpose cleaner to get, gunpowder residue, carbon buildup, things like that. This is what you're going to want here. You're not going to want the oil. The oil's for, after you're done, you want to give, the metal a nice sheen of oil. That's fine, but this is going to be where you want your, your dirty stuff getting out. So basically, you know, you'll see a lot of people, they'll run their Hoppe's patches through, and they'll run them through, and 10 seconds later they're putting a dry patch through there. That's not really how you want to use this. Everybody has their own technique, but really you want your solvent to sit inside an area and kind of really, you know, penetrate that, you know, carbon buildup, that gunpowder residue buildup. And you really want to give it, you know, it's kind of like degreaser, you know, if you're in the food industry or whatever, and you have a tough stain or something, and you got that degreaser, you want to kind of let it sit there for a few minutes before you go on with the dry patch or whatever to wipe the remaining up. And then what I like to do, of course, is let it sit for a few minutes, maybe just, you know, let it build, get all that stuff up. And then what I'll do is I'll run a dry patch through, obviously, and make sure that the bore, you know, whatever I'm cleaning is, you know, spotless to where I can get it. Without, you know, taking too much time, taking too many patches, because you'll do a lot of guns. That's why I have the big bottles as well, because I'll find, you know, I'm doing a lot. And then what you want to do after you're done cleaning, you know, again, this is my personal technique, and I think it's, you know, a pretty efficient way, is you're going to want to go ahead and run some patches with this on, just to coat, like, especially if you're doing a barrel, you're going to want to coat that with oil, you know, just to get that, to give that metal some protection from rust. Believe it or not, gun barrels rust insanely fast if they're left in humid conditions. I was, you know, kind of surprised when I was first, you know, starting out, and I was like, wow, these barrels, you know, left a day or two, you know, in humid conditions, they will start rusting. And it's not going to be pitting rust, it's just going to be that surface rust. And a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. It's kind of annoying, and you'll wipe it up with a rag, and you'll just, you know, you're like, okay, why is this on here? Well, you're not putting enough oil to protect your parts, your metal. You need to be putting an ample amount, but a conservative amount, to kind of give a nice little protection coat on your barrel, you know, the outside of your barrel, the inside. And this is going to help you achieve this. Is Hoppe's number 9, and that's why I like it so much. It's a very efficient setup that, you know, I think they've designed with their solvent, and then followed up by their gun oils. But, you know, sometimes we have those, you know, bickers about Hoppe's, and this is my number one thing. This is actually an older, you know, an older can. Obviously, you can see the size comparison here. This is, let's see here, about 2 fluid ounces. So, and then just for comparison, you have 5 fluid ounces here, so a bit bigger, a bit more economic to get the big one, I'd advise. So you can see this is kind of like what happened to this bottle. Well, here's my gripe with Hoppe's, and that is that their bottles are absolute garbage to me. They always tend to be leaking. You know, you have to keep them straight up, and even if you keep them straight up, you bump them around, it's just, you know, you get that sticky residue. It's really not my favorite part about Hoppe's, but, you know, I guess it's something we all have to deal with, and you can just see that stuff really eats through that paper. But I guess my biggest recommendation is just store your bottles, you know, right side up, and you won't really run into these problems. But of course, I use storage bins in the shop, and then in my home shop I use, you know, storage bins too. And sometimes I'm, you know, putting them like that, and really, you know, it's more convenient for me to store it that way. But again, the cans just don't seem to like that. Same thing with the lubricating oil, you know. But that's all part of the job, you know. You're really not going to find a better efficient system than Hoppe's. You know, of course, you got Frog Lube, and those are all great solvents. I'm not, again, like I said in the first part of this video, this is not the be-all, end-all, but this is what I'm sticking to for now, unless they somehow change the ingredients. But really, Hoppe's is just, you know, always efficient for me. I've used the other stuff, you know, it's cool, you know, it's what it is, you know, pick your poison. You know, Glock 1911. I feel like that's a big thing in the gun debates, is, you know, bickering what's better and what's worse. I mean, you know, it's what you're used to, it's what you're grown up on. So anyway, these have worked for me. In the future, I'm going to try out, you know, a few more Frog Lube. I'm really, you know, CLP Frog Lube I'm really looking forward to trying that out. I've seen it used a few times. I haven't really applied any, but I like the whole system. Again, efficiency, where you heat your metal up, and then you brush that stuff on there, and then it seeps into the pores of the hot metal and kind of stays there. And that's really, you know, CLP pretty much. And you know, that's a really efficient way, because of that gun heats up, it needs more lubrication, and then boom, it's there. Whereas this, it's going to build up a bit more carbon. So, you know, maybe in the future I will switch to, you know, CLP, but for now, Hoppe's number 9 is going to be my pick. And Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be doing some cleaning videos, of course, just, you know, general maintenance for your firearms. But I wanted to get this video out of the way just as a reference point for future videos. You know, just, you know, what I'm running, you know, what I found most efficient for me personally. And, of course, we all have, you know, our systems, you know, whatever works for you, use it. You know, this Hoppe's number 9 might not be your favorite. That's fine. Use what works for you and is most efficient for you. Alright, anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.
Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!